Much. Welcome, you guys. Welcome. Welcome to this amazing training about the #1 Valentine's gift. Which is that alone is the whole reason why, one of the reasons why we felt you couldn't miss this opportunity. But also, I want to share with you how I met Derek in the very first place and how this all happened. I was invited to speak at the Stimulate conference, which is the first trade show of sexual wellness, a whole sexual wellness trade show. And to be sure, I had no idea really what to expect, and to be also transparent with you guys. And I also was kind of making fun of it as I was going, like I was like, oh yeah, that's how, guess what I'm going to go speak about, we're going to, and so, but I'm always open to learn. I'm always open to find something new. And what blew me away is that it is so much more. I mean, I'm honest, I'm embarrassed to admit, but I mean, I would always be honest and authentic with you guys, but I'm embarrassed to admit how I felt about it and how I mocked it at first, because it is a super powerful community. This is about sexual wellness. It is about health. And the people that I talked to, the vendors that I talked to, were so passionate about bringing more health and more wellness, more sexual health and more wellness to people through all different stages of life, either, and through menopause. There's so many issues with women through that. And that's such a fabulously hot topic now, which it should be, because it's never really been addressed. It's always just been one of those things that happens and no one talks about it. Well, no, that's ridiculous. It should be talked about. And it all goes into really what our core values are, which is that you all don't just sell stuff. That's not what you do. You are selling merchandise that is impacting your retailers' lives, your clients' lives, your customers' lives, right? Women's clothing store, you're not just selling clothes, you're selling items that will keep your customers on the top of the trends, if that's what's important to them. Or you're selling confidence, because women, when you get a hold of them and they come in and you dress them and you accessorize them, they leave feeling like $1 million, in the right outfit, right? And that's the same thing here. That is the same thing here. This is all about feeling empowered, feeling healthy, and knowing what to do about it. This topic shouldn't be taboo. There shouldn't be an uncomfortableness around it. Now, listen, I, of course, acknowledge that there is, and we've spent a great deal of time, the team and I have spent a great deal of time talking over what's the best way we can help you get interested in this. And so Cecilia on our team has been involved in this, and Eric and Crystal, excuse me, not gonna apologize. Oh no, Crystal, I've for a second, Crystal, I thought I messed up your name. But so they're the two that are in the industry. You'll hear about them more in just one second. But but I really want you to know that we've also thought hard about what obstacles you might have, getting into this industry, starting in this industry, because and we're going to, and so I really would ask you to, any question you have, go ahead and put it in chat, because we're going to make sure that we dig into it, because we want to address it all. And don't forget that we have a whole part 2 of this too. So this is just to introduce you to the industry. This is just to show you the incredible opportunity that is available to you, because this merchandise, this category of merchandise is selling like crazy, right? But we've thought about how would your team sell it, all that kind of thing. And that's what our second webinar is going to be about. Our second training is going to be about that, which is on January 4th, because we want you to have all the tools you need. So any questions you have as we go along, please throw them in chat, and we will dig into them. And also, the other thing that would be super helpful for us is if you could put down the name of your store and where you're from and what kind of store you have. That would also be fabulous. We'd love to know that too. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Derek. And Derek, I'd love for you to go ahead and then introduce Crystal. Thank you so much, both of you, from taking time from your busy schedules to share and to enlighten all of us today.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for making the time, and for everybody on the call to make the time to join us. I know when I met Cathy, I went to the show for kind of that, similar, I guess maybe a completely opposite reason than Cathy went there. She went there to learn. I went there to find a way to talk to more stores in boutique stores like your stores. And because I really felt like there was certainly an opportunity, as Cathy talked about. And I kind of went through the show and didn't really have that opportunity. A lot of it was adult customers that were there that were already customers of ours. And then I met Cathy, and I'm like, this is exactly what I'd like to do is to spread the word using what Cathy's platform. And so it really worked out well. So we started talking more and more about what we want to do and how we want to do things. And we sell a lot of different manufacturers, but the first manufacturer that came to my mind was the Lovehoney Group, because of the classy nature of their products, because they do have toys, they have lube, they have stuff for men, for women. And I really thought it was a very good fit for where you guys are at. And Crystal, I thought, was a perfect one to have on the call so she could kind of talk about it from her side. So with that, I'd like to introduce Crystal Farrer with the Lovehoney Group.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for attending today. And happy to be here to help support from a Lovehoney perspective. Just to give you an idea of my role within the organization, my job is to break down barriers and to see more of our pleasure and intimacy products on mainstream shelves. So I represent, one of the brands I represent is Lovehoney Mon Ami, and that's on the shelf right now in a few Walmart stores, also being tested in CVS. So for retailers like yourselves that are traditional mainstream retailers, this is definitely, just so you know, a category that is growing in the mainstream area. And the reason why I'm here to help support Derek is just to, help you provide those category insights, share with you what the growth opportunities are, and then also share with you the product assortments that Derek carries that we feel would be most appropriate for you as retailers to carry and share with your consumers in your regions. So with that, I will hand that over to Derek.
Okay.
So he's going to go through go ahead, Derek, and bring up your screen and everything. He's going to go through here at Retail Mavens, we are all about the science. We're all about how retail is a science and an art, but there's a science to it. And these stats are absolutely mind-blowing when you see the hole in the market that there is and it's one that specifically you can fill.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so leading the world's pursuit of sexual happiness, that's certainly a Lovehoney Group tagline, and I think it does really kind of, resonate across all the things that we're trying to do in the industry. And a little bit about who Eldorado is. We are a distributor. We are located right outside of Denver in Broomfield, Colorado, and we've won several awards for distribution. We sell all kinds of sexual health products. We sell lingerie, almost 20 or over 20,000 products. So one of the questions you had, Dana, earlier, we're going to get to, because if you have a store that's a bar and you want to have fun stuff and kind of goofy stuff, we have that. If you have a lingerie store, we have lots of lingerie and lots of lingerie accessories and lots of things that will tie to that either way. So we do have lots of different products, and I think things that will apply in a lot of different areas. One of the things we'll talk about more is a 90-day guarantee. It is essentially, if you buy a product for the first time from us, if it doesn't sell, you can return it within 90 days, no question asked, ship it back to us. As long as it's in sellable condition, then we'll take it back. So kind of hopefully that lowers your concern about, hey, if I buy something, am I going to get stuck with it? We're not trying to do that. We want you to sell it. We want you to be successful. And so that's part of what we do. And then, as Cathy said, next time we'll have a lot more on education. We have a lot of great educational tools. One of the reasons I like Lovehoney so much is because they have great educational tools. They have educational stuff around products. We have it around the industry, around the body, talks a lot about the body, what lubricants are, what toys are. So a lot of tools for you to get educated on that we'll certainly get into next time, but want to give you a little understanding of who we are. So let's talk about the market. And this market is certainly a market that's transforming, that's growing significantly, and not just in the US, but around the world. So, and this is really, you know, a 7% CAGR, compounded annual growth rate. Sex toys are here. They are in mainstream. They're in a lot of areas that you would have not seen them before. And so it just continues to grow. And there's a lot of different angles when we talk about sex toys, or we talk about things related in the industry. So we'll get into a little bit more of that. This chart shows really all products in the category. When you think about lube and condoms, they've been in convenience stores, in the grocery stores, in drugstores for many, many years. So this is kind of including, you know, grocery stores, which would be food, and drug, which is CVS, Walgreens, those kinds of people, and then all channels. So, but this includes everything. So it could be any kind of toy, any kind of lubricant, any type of, you know, even some pills that are out there, whether it's for, you know, the morning after pill or other kinds of pills for men. It includes a lot of different areas, and you can see that it's growing 14% a year across all channels. So it is certainly driving more mainstream. It's getting into a lot of different areas. When we look at the next page, this is just sex toys. So let's take out the condoms, the lube, all those kinds of things, and just look at where sex toys are at. Much greater growth, certainly from 2020 to 2021 and even into 22, continues to grow, 48% growth across all the different channels. So it is very significant. Let me see if I can move this over a little bit. And you can see in food, it hasn't grown quite as much, but still significantly, 37% compared to the drugstores at 45%. So this just shows you that it is growing, and we'll talk about reasons why, but it is absolutely a growing category within mainstream. Who's carrying this stuff? Everybody. I mean, it's really kind of gone from, you know, Spencer's maybe had it. They started a long time ago with a few things here and there, but Spencer's is really kind of, they have a lot. If you go into your Spencer store, you're going to see a lot of different kinds of products that are sex toys. When you look at Nordstrom's, they have an offering. You look at Kroger, if you're near a Kroger, there's a King Soopers, which is part of Kroger right across the street from my house. And they have condoms, lube, sex toys. Didn't think I would see that, you know, especially, you know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. You didn't think you would see that, but it's really grown in a lot of different areas, and it continues to be, you know, growing and gaining shelf space in a lot of these different stores. I would guarantee you there's a sex toy closer to you than you probably realize. So it is certainly a growing market, but I would also probably guess that a lot of you haven't thought about it. You haven't done it. You're not sure about it. And that's exactly what we want to talk about, but it is growing. It's much more accepted than it used to be. Questions or comments? Anything yet? All right, good deal. I'll keep going. So what's driving it? And it's really is this new wave of feminism, right? So it's society really being more focused on equality, whether it's gender or LGBTQIA plus, really accepting kind of who people are and making that a part of what we do as a society. And I think, you know, the gay rights legalization, I think it's the education. There's so much more education out there than there was 10 years ago. And certainly when I was a kid or when I was growing up in high school, we did not have this kind of stuff. There are so many more options and tools and things just for you to learn about sex, and certainly a focus on pleasuring women. So I think that's been a huge piece of what's driving the growth. The sexual wellness, you know, COVID was huge for this industry, not gonna lie. People had extra money and they had nothing to do. So kind of a perfect storm for people to learn about stuff, to learn about toys, to learn about themselves, their body, to try new things. And, you know, 30% of the people that were entering this market, as from a consumer side, 30% were new. They didn't know this. They didn't buy something before, but they started playing around in COVID. And it's certainly, I think, the acceptance of masturbation. If you were in lockdown and you lived alone, you had some options, and certainly masturbation was one of those. Social media, I mean, that's something that obviously hits every aspect of our society, but certainly sex toys and sexual wellness. There's a lot of stuff out there. The rose-shaped vibrator, that one is crazy, because I got on TikTok and it went viral, obviously. And when I talk to people, when I go to shows, or when I talk to people outside of the industry, they may not know anything about these toys. They may not know anything, but they know the rose. And it's just crazy, because is it the best toy on the market? Some would argue it's probably not up to par compared to other things, but it's got the look. It's a cool looking toy. It's got the vibe behind it. TikTok made me buy it. So that's kind of what drives a lot of those things. So it's out there. We thought it was going to die. It's almost at 2 years of that rose continuing to grow. And we have a lot more roses than we've ever had before. So it's pretty crazy.
My biggest seller at Walmart.
Biggest seller at Walmart, absolutely. And then I think a renewed focus on self-care, as we really think about ourselves, we're thinking more holistic about who we are and what we're doing. And I think that's really driving a lot of the pieces of what's really pushing growth in this particular area. Okay. So self-care, we continue to change the definition. I think, certainly we've always talked about, you've got the financial side of things, and your emotional state, your physical state, all those, those are where the focus of, hey, what's good with self-care. But it certainly does expand. And I think really sexual self-care or sexuality, how you feel sexually, how satisfied you are, is certainly a part of the self-care that it wasn't even part of the conversation, or even dared to be put in the conversation 10, 20 years ago. So all those different things are certainly driving the increase and driving what we're seeing in the numbers as far as the category growing. So the category is certainly growing. You see it in mainstream, you see it in a lot of different areas. So let's talk about who the pleasure products customer is. What kind of people buy these products? And it's, when you look at the gender, it's really balanced. It's about half and half. About half are male, half are female. There are a lot more toys out there. Certainly something I learned when I started in this industry for males than I ever thought there was. But there are obviously a ton of stuff for women as well. The age group is 60% are between 25 and 44. But I think that's continuing to evolve as there's more toys being created, more lubes, different things for people in the older age group. And I think all the acceptance that we've talked about, that's the younger people, the 25 to 44, are certainly much more accepting of things and much more curious than I think others were 30 years ago, that age group 30 years ago.
And just to add to that, Derek, this is actually the lovehoney.com shopper. So this is more of an e-commerce play. A mainstream in-person shopper tends to skew a bit older, and even older in a drugstore environment versus a mass environment.
Good point. Thank you for adding that. Sexual preference, primarily heterosexual, but certainly that kind of drives with, just the statistics of the population. And probably even a little low when it comes to straight. I think certainly higher on bisexuality as far as the type of customers and demographics of people who buy these kinds of toys. Relationship status all over the map, but certainly married is the highest group. But a lot of people, single is certainly a big piece as well. And why people buy? They buy primarily for themselves and their partner. But for themselves, or they'll buy for their partner. Doesn't seem like a lot of people buy for a friend, but certainly, friends like to try things as well. And I know I have a lot of friends that are always asking for free stuff. So I hear that a lot. Okay, so we've talked about the market, we talked about the category, the drivers, we talked about the demographics, and Cathy has a question.
Well, I just wanted to point out that, you guys, this was one of the things that when I saw this first, I was like, okay, so when I saw the slide that showed that it was being sold in Walmart, I mean, I don't know, that doesn't matter to me. It's not my, it's not our customers, but then when you saw that it's in Madewell, it's in Bloomingdale's, it's in Saks, it's in Nordstrom's, and then to see that this is really your customer, right? And especially, thanks so much for Crystal for saying that those age groups are also skewed a little younger because of being online. But yeah, I mean, like this is your customer. Was the part that was the next part that I was like, oh wow, yeah, this is really fascinating.
Yeah, and I think, part of the reason, going back to what I started with about meeting Cathy, is I think when I think about going to the grocery store and buying a sex toy versus going into some of the boutiques around town, certainly a very different experience. And where are people going to be more comfortable? Do I want to throw that sex toy in the cart with my broccoli, or do I want to go where I feel a little more safe and it's a little more private in a boutique to buy this kind of stuff? And I think that's what got me excited to go to the show to begin with. And then certainly talking with Cathy and going down that route. So it seems like a very good fit when we look at this. So
well, and one last thing about it is that, so I went into CVS because, right, like, Derek said, yeah, no, there's a whole section CVS for sexual wellness. I just hadn't noticed it before. But then as I'm looking at this stuff, I had questions about it. And you guys, you can't find anybody in any of those stores to answer any of your questions. Whereas it's what you all do, is that you help and support and educate your customers. And that's why there's such a big opening in this market, I think.
yeah,
That's a great point.
So talked about the market, talked about mainstream, talked about type of customers. So next step is what to sell. So move this over a little bit more. So there is the list of products that we put on here. So we have 3 different tiers. So the first tier, you can see that this is your cost, about $319. Here's where your margin would be at. And these are the products included in this piece. Crystal, do you want to talk a little bit about these?
Absolutely. So just off to the start, ArcWave is more for our penis owners and our male partners. This here is a pocket stroker. It looks really small. It's very flexible. It stretches. It's very convenient for travel. And it's, from a price point perspective, something that, is an easy price point. So not too worried about like a big investment into a toy that may sit in the side table for its eternity. Pure is a premium lubricant. It's manufactured in Germany. It in fact was one of the very first silicone lubricants on the market. They are best sellers and a great quality product. Personal story, I'd never used a lube product before, and when I did join the company, Pure was the one that I tried, and I was just like, where has this product been all my life, and why haven't I been using lube before? So it's definitely a product that is toy friendly. Both of the formulations here, naked being preservative free, natural also being preservative free, but they're water based, so they're safe to use with toys. They're safe to use in heterosexual sex, masturbation. You can use it for all types of things. You even use it sometimes as a hand cream and lotion while I'm in the middle of a meeting. So a great product. And Pure Lube, very much a premium product, and a very well-known brand within North America. Next we have Romp, and there's 2 products here from Romp. And Romp is really more of our pleasure seeker, cheeky. It tends to skew to a younger demographic. However, in Canada, it's our top seller with the shopping channel, which is very similar to QVC. So skewed a little bit more older. But what's unique about these 2 products with Romp is that they're both pleasure air products. So Pleasure Air is a patented technology within the Lovehoney Group. It is sometimes referred to as suction, but really what it is it's an air device in a closed chamber environment. And as Derek had said before, we have a rose because the way we're able to develop that rose and the tulips and the kind of like flower shape at the top replicates that stimulus and that stimulation of pleasure air. And it's basically to replicate oral, but it's a pleasure air technology and or a suction technology. So there's two products there with Romp. One is in that very oval shape, which is synonymous with the womanizer product, or with a lot of suction toys. And then there's the Romp for the flower format in pink there, which is the, and it's really focused more on clitoral stimulation, but also really great with nipple play and neck play. So you can really use it to stimulate a bunch of different areas. And then we have WeVibe. So WeVibe, if you haven't heard of WeVibe, the brand, proud to say that this was developed in Canada. So as a Canadian, I'm very proud of this brand. And this turquoise device is a couple's toy, and it was created by a Canadian couple. Husband was an engineer. They both lost their jobs with a very huge tech company here in Canada, and decided, we have a mortgage and 3 kids. We need to develop something, and hey, let's just develop a couple sex toy. And this one here is a wearable. So it is meant to be used either for solo play or when you're, having intimate relations with your partner, and it's for vaginal and penis sex. So it's really, really something that's comfortable to wear, stimulates both partners, and the Sync Light is also connected to an app. So if your partner travels, if you decide to have a cheeky dinner date and want to wear this while you're out to dinner, then your partner can control it with the app. So that's the Sync Light product. And then right beside it is the Melt. This is my personal favorite. And again, this is another Pleasure Air device. If you can see it, it looks a lot like the Romp one in its shape. And it's Pleasure Air. So it stimulates all body parts, and can be used among partners. And it is also an app enabled product. So it can be controlled by a partner with an app. For an older demographic, for me, I find it's very ergonomically shaped, so it's easy to hold, and you can control it with an app if you didn't want to control it with the buttons. So it's a really great device, and something that can be used. All of these toys can be used interchangeably with heterosexual partners, same-sex partners, and for different areas within the body. So really great first tier, and not too much of an investment. And I'll hand that over to Derek to talk about like the financials and what the opportunities are from a retail perspective.
Well, Crystal, could I ask you one question? So
Sure.
so why is the WeVibe Melt, that one looks like it retails at $150 versus the Shine, the Romp Shine retails at $50? So like, what's the difference between the two? Obviously the app portion of it.
The app portion is a part of it. The vibration settings and the intensities that are available, there's more intensities, and there's different patterns within that device. So, and that's what you'll see as we go through the tiers, although the technology will be the same. Even just like the fact that the Melt is wrapped in a body safe silicone, whereas the Romp version, my apologies, is more of an ABS plastic. So even just the materials that are used are very different. So that's where costs kind of come in play. And also too, WeVibe is a more premium product, where Romp kind of sits in that like friendly, first time user and or more of a younger vibe. So maybe not someone who's purchased a sex toy before ever. They might start with the Romp category versus going all in and spending $200 or something on a vibrator.
Got it.
Yeah. So yeah, certainly tier one, we tried to pick a kind of a variety, kind of that good, better, best category, right? You've got romp in the good or better, and then certainly we vibe at the higher end, and then some lube because the world needs more lube, no doubt about that, and then something for men. So kind of a variety of different things, and then you can see the cost, what your cost would be from buying from us, and then what your retail margin would be, or what your retail dollars, what you'd sell it for, and then what your margin is. So
Are these all MSRP? Like, do you have any
yes.
flexibility with the price, meaning that actually I said the wrong thing. I didn't mean MSRP, I meant MAP. Like, are these MAP pricing, or do I have the opportunity to charge more if I want to?
These are MAP prices, so you can certainly charge more. A lot of our customers do charge more for some of these things, just kind of depends.
Yeah, okay.
So really does depend on what you're looking for. And the other thing are these are the colors that we pick that are kind of the higher sellers. And I know that color doesn't match, but you certainly can. We have a lot of these, as you see with the Arc Wave. We have multiple colors in a lot of these products, so you can certainly pick different colors if you feel like something else is going to work for you. So, hey, typically, what the best it is why we put those in here, because they are the top sellers.
Lauren had a question in the chat, and just so you are aware, Lauren, thank you for asking that question. And yes, there is, these products are available mostly with our adult retailers. Some of our mainstream retailers do carry these products. So you'll see the romp line in Spencer's Gifts. You'll see some of the We Vibe products in Spencer's Gifts. We Vibe is available on Walmart.com. It's also available at WeVibe.com. And romp is available at Walmart.com as well. So some of mainstream retailers are selling this, but really for the most part, these products are really only available with adult specialty retailers, and not many people are shopping them in a store environment, unless they're shopping for them online.
Great.
Okay, so the next tier, a lot of the same stuff that you saw before with a couple additional pieces. So I'll let Crystal talk about that. Everybody up here.
So, so with the Arc Wave product, you'll see we've got 3 colors here. This is the POW. And if anyone has ever heard of Fleshlight, this is Arc Wave's version of the Fleshlight. In a sense, it's a male masturbator or stroker, however you want to call it. I like using the term stroker. It comes in black, mint, and navy blue. It's beautifully designed. It's ABS plastic on the outside, but a really soft silicone on the inside. It's got suction control on the outside, so you can adjust the pressure and the stimulation for your partner. And it's fairly compact in a sense that it's not too big. But as you can see, it's a little bit bigger than what we had shown you previously. In regards to lubricants, again, wanted to provide water-based products. For the most part, we have the Aqua Naked and Natural. We also included our Pure Infinity, and this for any of the gift shop owners or retailers who, carry cosmetics or beauty products or bath products. We really love the way that these bottles look. It's really more of a bottle, glass bottle. And this is where we can differentiate water versus silicone. And we always advocate not to use silicone with silicone toys, because silicone does not like silicone and it will end up damaging the toy. So that's why we have lots of water-based options. But sometimes there is a need for silicone. Silicone is not water-based, so it doesn't get absorbed by your body as quickly as a water-based lubricant. It lasts a little bit longer. So if you're not using a toy, go for the silicone lube. It's really the one that's going to give you the most benefit. We've introduced you to the romp products already. So we've got the Shine and the Rose. Again, the Rose you're going to see in all of these tiers because it's a bestseller. It is a trending product. It's It's the one that everyone is kind of looking for. It's a different form factor. So we've got the shine and the rose again in this environment here. And then we have the WeVibe Sync 2. So again, this is a wearable. It's a little bit more expensive than the Sync Lite because it has more functionality to it. It actually has a remote. So if you didn't want to use the app, if you didn't want to use the buttons, but you wanted to use a remote, you have the remote option. This has 2 motors instead of 1. So there's going to be more vibration. That's either good or bad, depending on what your partner likes. And again, I don't think I talked about what this partner toy or couple toy does, but it really is more about stimulating the G-spot and the clitoris, and it can be used with partner play or it can be used as solo play. So this is just a more premium version of the one that we just showed you. And then we have 2 womanizer products. So womanizer is the pleasure air toy, and this is the brand behind the technology. This is the #1 brand search brand for female stimulation, clitoral stimulation in North America. And these are the Liberty, which is a cute little travel. It's got a little travel case. The colors in this assortment are beautiful. And then we have the Womanizer Eco, and this one is eco-friendly. It's made with biolean. It comes with a battery that you can take out so you can reuse your toy. It's not rechargeable, but it comes with a battery so that you can, replace it as you need to, and it's more sustainable. The packaging is more sustainable. You'll see it's like a cardboard. It's recyclable, but it still has the intensities and it still has the vibration patterns that you would with any other rechargeable device. So those are the products in tier 2. And then I'm just going to go to the chat to see if there's any different questions.
In tier 2, so we saw tier 1 around $300, tier 2's around $600, and retail at $1,200, so right at a 50% margin. Same thing as far as the retail prices. These are suggested retail prices. You certainly can go higher than that should you choose.
Yep. And then to answer Dana's question, yes, Dana, these are just recommendations within the tier. Derek was just trying to keep 3 tiers available. So depending on what type of investment you wanted to make in the category, what you think would be capable of you selling in your environment. And then also too, what I really wanted to focus on from a Lovehoney perspective was our patented technologies. These are products that, not everyone is carrying. That not all mainstream retailers are carrying because of the price point. You have a unique environment where, like, I can't have these products in a mainstream retailer, a big box store, because of theft and shrinkage. But certainly you have relationships with your customers. These are the assortments, and these are the best sellers that you could sell in your environment. So hopefully that answers your question, Dana.
And I think, Dana, even going back to your original question, or when we first started, you have somebody with a bar. I'm not sure any of these would fit in that bar situation, but certainly games, cards. We have all kinds of crazy, cool, naughty games, beer games, weed games. But as far as the lingerie, this might be a really good one because I think some of the packaging goes well, depending on the lingerie store. But if it's a very nice, classy lingerie store, which it probably is, these products are going to fit well into that. We'll look at more of the packaging once we get through tier 3, so you'll see kind of the packaging overall. All right, so tier 3 is, sorry, trying to move everybody around. So continuation of what we had with a couple new products. So I'll let Crystal talk about those.
Oh, I'm just realizing from a graphic perspective, my ion is not there. But the ArcWave ion. So what we were able to do as a organization with Lovehoney, we were able to take that womanizer technology and translate it into the male orgasm. So we've incorporated pleasure air into a male masturbator or a stroker. And I wish I had. Oh, there it is.
There
Thank
it is.
you, Derek. I appreciate that. It is sexy. This is the one thing I have to say about the Arcwave line is the packaging is just so sleek. This product, although I haven't been able to use it on any of my partners, it is a fabulous product. If you just YouTube Arcwave Ion and you look at some of the videos and you hear some of the testimonials, it's my #1 top seller in mainstream on Best Buy and Walmart. So it definitely is a product that is resonating with the male demographic. From a gifting perspective, the box just looks amazing. So if I purchase this for my partner, he would be so happy. So yeah, so that's the Arcwave Ion. Derek, if you don't mind just going back to the bundles again. And then we have our lube, same lube as the last assortment. Again, wanted to provide water-based options, but also really love the beauty of these glass bottles with the Pure Infinity. It has a more premium look. I love it on my counter with all of my other glass perfumes. And then we have the Romp products again for that new user, something that's in a comfortable price point. And then we have the We Vibe Chorus. So this is our best seller in regards to the C-shaped category. It's very similar to the other partner or couple products that we mentioned, which were the Sync Light and the Sync. It is a wearable. It comes in a few color options, actually quite a few color options, and it is at the top of our price range. What's really great about the Chorus is the remote that it comes with is actually a squeeze remote. So if you think of someone who's a little bit older, might have arthritis, doesn't want to fiddle with a lot of little buttons. I feel like I'm talking about myself here. That you can use this remote, and it's a soft squeezable remote to increase the intensities, decrease the intensities. This product is also app enabled, so you can use the app. And because it is a couple's toy, it can be used for penis and vagina sex, or it could be used for solo play, or it can be used with app for long distance play. And the Bluetooth capability in this one is really great. There's a whole bunch of other features that we could go through in regards to the We Vibe Chorus, but it is our #1 gifting product at Christmas time when it comes to We Vibe assortment. Then we have the We Vibe Melt, and the navy blue is my favorite. And again, this is a pleasure air product. It's meant for stimulation for the clitoris, but also for nipples and other areas, penises, balls, you name it. You can generally stimulate any area with this pleasure air toy. And then we move into the Moxie. So this is another wearable. And if anyone has seen Katherine Heigl and Gerard Butler, there was a cute little movie they had, and this was the wearable that she was wearing. It was a panty vibe. Wasn't the Moxie, but it was something very similar. So this is the panty vibe. It's meant to be worn in your underwear or your undergarments, and it's got a little magnet on it that keeps it in place. So it has a remote. It's also an app enabled. So, your dinner date just got a little bit more fun, either across the table, across the room, or, in your bedroom, up to you. So that's the Moxie Panty Vibe. And then we have our Womanizer collection. So again, Womanizer is the pleasure air product. And we've got the Liberty, and this, we've just shown you a different color here in the lilac. Lots of pretty colors in the Liberty. And again, it's got a travel case, travels well, nice and compact. But then we also have the Premium 2, which is, got so many feature sets to it. Intensity levels, vibration patterns, has smart silent. So anyone who has young children at home like myself, you just remove it from your body and it automatically stops. So nobody's going to hear anything. And then you've got the Womanizer Eco that we talked about in the last tier. So those are some of the suggestions for this particular tier. And then I'll just check the chat to see if there's any questions.
Okay. I'm gonna jump over to the links that Cecilia just sent out. So I know we had some small pictures on that slide, but here's this page, these links show you a little bit more as far as what the packaging looks like, what the products look like, so you get a much better view of kind of what's going on. And then in each of these, you can click on the shop link there, or if we go back to tier 1, you can click here at Shop Eldorado. Once you have an account, once you're set up, then you can go in and see all these different products, which we'll talk about more in a minute. So, and here's tier 2. So those are all the different kinds of products. Oops, go back to this. And so with tier 3, we went from 300 to about 600. This one's $1,000. If you buy this group of products, then we'll certainly, we've got some pricing in there to help incentivize you to buy into the tier 3 group of products. So again, this is I think a very good one to start with, something that you can start with, shows all the really good products from the Lovehoney Group. So.
And then I think there was a question earlier, Derek. I'm just going to jump in about MAP. So for MAP products, just wanted to adjust everyone's expectations. So some of these products are MAP protected. And basically, if you have it advertised in your store and you have it at a lower price than the MSRP that is here, that is fine. There's no concerns on our end from that type of promotion or advertising. Where we have challenges around MAP is when you're online and you're competing with our actual branded stores. So Pure is definitely a MAP protected brand. We Vibe and Womanizer are MAP protected as well. So your advertising or being able to discount below MSRP is a little bit more challenging. But I think in this environment or in your retail environments, what you're really going to want to be looking at is charging a little bit more. You're providing that one-on-one customer experience. We'll have the tools and the sales tools to help have those conversations, and they don't need to be in-depth conversations about anatomy. They really can be very high levels. Anything that can come off of a sales sheet, which we have those products and I can provide those to Derek, and they can be all part of the tier pricing. Just really high level conversations with your customers. And if you're able to, when you create a display, if there was support you needed from just a POP perspective, those are also things that we could provide to increase, the more comfort level of your customers, coming up to one of your sales associates and, hey, what is this product? And can you tell me more about it? We have all of the tools that you're going to need to be able to market and promote the product in store.
Yeah, and I just clicked on our website. So if you go to our, once you get an account, you can log in, you can see the MAP pricing, you can see how many we have on hand, you can see different images of the product. We also have some product information. We have the product specifications down here, and we actually have a video as well. It's a YouTube one, but once you jump out there, you can see that video as well. So it's a good way to, what Crystal's talking about is to be able to have some of that stuff at your fingertips. We try to make our website fairly rich, especially with the Lovehoney products. So you have a lot of that stuff out there already. So, okay. So those are the tiers. And I think, really the next thing is Crystal and Lovehoney have some great products. So why would you buy from Eldorado? And certainly, I think from my personal experience of being here, we do want to be a dynamic leader in the industry. I think we've won several awards around that. But I think the one thing that separates us from other distributors in the industry is really that, and I'm not saying don't have integrity, but I just feel like we have probably the highest level of integrity in the industry. We try very hard when we make decisions internally, when we are dealing with people, we try to do the right things every time, whether it's with employees, with customers, with manufacturers. For example, we could make more money selling direct and compete against our core customers, but that's not something we do. It's not something that we're going to do. So that's a big deal for us. It's a big deal for me because I've been in wholesale a long time. And I've been with this company about 3.5 years. My big deal is I want to help small businesses out there. I want to help them. That's what wholesale does. We can provide you lots of different products from lots of different manufacturers on one order, one invoice. And that's what we're here to do, and certainly can help you get into this. In addition, we talked about the training. We talked about the support that you would have through my sales team, should you choose to sign up. So that's kind of where we're at with the whole thing.
Derek, do you mind talking a little bit about the 90-day guarantee? Dana has a question in regards to what is that guarantee? What is it based on? Is it based on sell-through percentage, units, 0 sold in 90 days? And is it a return or an exchange?
90-day guarantee is if you buy a product from us and that's the first time you bought that product and you don't sell that product in 90 days, you call us up. We'll send, you basically send that product back to us, ship it back to us, and we return it, no questions asked. It's got to be in resellable condition. If you have stickers on it or if it's been opened, that's not resellable. But if it's in a resellable condition, send it back to us. We give you your money back, no questions asked. And if you buy the product, you sell it, and then you buy it again, then that doesn't qualify. But it's certainly something that we put out there because we want you to try this. There's new products in this industry all the time, and if something isn't working for you, we're asking you to spend a lot of money on some individual products that may or may not sell. And certainly we don't want to put you in that position because your success is our success, as it says on the bottom. So we want to make sure you have an option to do that. But at the same time, we want to give you the tools, the training, to make sure that you're in a position that you and your staff are in a position to sell the products. As I talked about, you buy a chorus, you're going to want to make sure your staff at least watches the video on our website, or preferably kind of spend a little more time on the learning about that product so they can answer the questions and they can talk about it. So much longer answer to that question than I normally give, but
and right. Lauren, great question to Derek. It was actually a segue I wanted to talk to you about, knowing that your business. So Lauren Palmer is a lingerie retailer in Lansing, Michigan. And she wanted to know if you could talk about some of your lingerie brands. Now, I can't speak to what lingerie brands that you have, Derek, because I don't know. But from a Lovehoney perspective, we also have the licensing for 50 Shades of Grey that also has lingerie, also kind of moves into more bondage products as well as vibrators, and or bundles for couples to play with. So that's one part of the Lovehoney aspect from a lingerie perspective. Derek, can you speak to any other lingerie brands that Eldorado distributes?
And we do carry several of the 50 Shades of Grey. Other lingerie that we have, fantasy lingerie, certainly is a big one. Roma, Mapale, it's a fairly new one, really nice stuff. We've got Escante, Renee Ruffet, pink lipstick. There's a brand called Me, which is more really kind of cool, seamless panties. We've got a company called Role Play that has different kinds of like all-in-one schoolgirl kind of thing, or a nurse or whatever, and it's got the glasses with the schoolgirl. It's kind of the whole costume piece of that. So lots of different kinds of lingerie, and I think lots of stuff that goes along with that as well. Pheromones have been a big deal when it comes to lingerie or just a big deal back to the TikTok thing, because there was some stuff going on TikTok. So we have a lot of pheromones. We've been selling a lot of that kind of stuff recently. We have a lot of Kama Sutra has lots of different products that pair well with lingerie and are good accessories as well. So that help? I'm sure I'm missing some lingerie, but
yeah, that's a good assortment. Thank you. Dana, you had a question about POP signage and display. Thank you for that merchandising question. From a brand perspective, Lovehoney brands, we do have, table tents. We have, if you wanted to commit to a floor decal, we have floor decals. We have large in-store display boxes that are kind of stackable. So we have banners that are available. We have lots of tools for you to utilize, including tester units to help you with product display or tabletop displays. There are some stands that are for some of the brands that you could actually have the tester out and just on display. And all of that is orderable through Eldorado. So Derek is able to order those merchandising tools for you with any of your orders. We just need to place it for him and make sure that he has it in his warehouse.
Yeah, and I'm kind of, as you were walking through that, Crystal, I was showing on our website a lot. We have a ton of promo stuff for WeVibe. So everything that you talked about, the tents, the banner stands, the table, shelf talkers. So if we don't have it in stock, you can certainly order it. We'll get it to you. So tons of stuff. And again, another reason why they're such a good partner is they provide all that kind of stuff, because it's not only learning and educating yourself on the toy, but getting people's attention drawn to it, and they do some great stuff with that as well. So
yeah. And then Cecilia, thank you for asking that question in the chat in regards to timelines. That's why we're all here talking about Valentine's Day. So how we really see from an ordering perspective and a promoting perspective, most retailers are comfortable promoting Valentine's Day, 3 to 4 weeks before the actual day itself. So I would say for our next call, which is scheduled for January 4th, you might want to already have your orders in place. If you want to have everything in stock, you want to have those POS kits available and ready to go at least 3 to 4 weeks out of the actual Valentine's Day. Obviously, you're going to get lots of last minute shopping for Valentine's Day. Hands up, I'm guilty of this all the time because I'm usually in denial of Galentine's or Valentine's Day. But yeah, if from a timeline perspective, I would say if you can get your orders in before Christmas, then you're in good shape to have it delivered, ready for your team to set it up and get it in store. Review all of the sales materials before the January 4th call, and then January 4th will just be like any additional questions that you might have, any additional support that you might need. Derek will be able to provide that before you actually go live in your store in a few weeks in January.
absolutely. Yeah, perfect. So that leads right into how to start ordering. If this is something you want to do and you want to get moving on it, go to eldorado.net, click on the sign up button, reference in the comments Retail Mavens, and once we get your approval, we'll get you up and running. Typically we can certainly take credit card, we can consider terms, but I think you want to order today, get going on it. Certainly that's either credit card be the easiest way. We'll get you up and running, get you access to the website. So if you're looking for lingerie or anything else, all that stuff is out there. So
awesome. And I also just want you all to know that I'm not making any money on this. Like, I'm not taking a percentage of the sales or anything, that I just legitimately really believe that this is an incredible opportunity for all of you that I didn't even know until, a little couple months ago was even available. Really. I had no idea what was possible with it. And it is like we said, it's really an extraordinary opportunity to take advantage of being in on this category of merchandise that your customers are buying, and they're buying it in places that they can't get service. They can't be helped the way that you would typically help them. And that's the whole thing, is we wanted to give you all this information, which is why then the whole next one will be all about training and for it and stuff. And the other thing I was really impressed with when I met Derek was how he provides so much information to support teams on training. And so what I'm hoping to do, he knows already, but just to be transparent with you, is I'm hoping to be able to help him a little bit with that too, with some of the things that we do. But yeah, and I really think this is an opportunity, you guys, to make 2024 the year that you reach new heights with this brand new category. I really do.
And it says a lot that kind of what you just said, that you're not looking to make money off this. You just think it is a good thing for your customers to do, and it's certainly, I want to return the favor later on, which we certainly will do. But I think I do believe this is a good piece. And again, going back to, I want to see small businesses grow. I want to see them create jobs. I want to help where I can, and wholesale does that. And we try to give you all the tools that we can to make sure that happens.
Right.
So.
All right, you guys. Well, you know where to find us if you have any other questions. And I know that Crystal and Derek would be more than happy to help. And we look forward to talking to you on January 4th. If there's any other questions. Well, Dana, one more. So go ahead.
Yeah, Dana has one more question about tagging retailers who carry your products. So right now, from a Wevi perspective, womanizer perspective, we're not tagging retailers that promote our products, but you have the opportunity to in your social media environment, we have tools, and we have branded online social media content that you can leverage to say that these brands are now available at your shop. So anything that you would need would be, just ask Derek and we can make that happen for you. But we traditionally don't tag our retailers in our social media. Dana, I hope that answered your question.
All right, everybody. Thank you so very much for being here. Reach out with any other questions or obstacles you have as you go through it, because as you can imagine, we put an awful lot of time into thinking all those things through before we even came together today. But I'm sure that, right, there's always more. So please ask if there's anything at all that's keeping you from taking advantage of this opportunity. We'd love to know. All right.
Wonderful. Thank you for the opportunity
Very much, everybody.
to join you. Have a good day.
Bye-bye, you guys.